Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. Today we've got a treat for you. I'm joined by Mike Eldred, Director of Marketing for the Fender Custom Shop.
Hey, Mitch.
And Dennis Galuska, who is a master builder with the Fender Custom Shop. And you guys are here putting on a Fender Roadshow.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
What the Fender Roadshow is that we go around the country to all the key dealers like Sweetwater, and we bring these really, really cool one-off guitars, and we display them, and then we have customers come in and talk to us a little bit, about, we tell them what we do, give them a little history of the custom shop, kind of tell them why we exist and who we build guitars for, and show them how they can get their own guitar made, and then we bring master builders like Dennis out, and actually Dennis will do a demonstration today and work on a guitar.
Cool.
And they can actually see all that happen, right there, live and in person.
Right. So you'll be building a guitar right in front of the audience.
I'll be building a part of a guitar. I obviously don't have the tools and resources in your store to build a whole guitar, but
sure.
I'll do one facet of it that'll show everybody the enormous gap between a production guitar and a master built guitar, and where all that extra money is going. And when they leave a lot more educated on why our guitars are that much better.
Right. Can you give us just a few differences between what would make a custom shop guitar different from a production guitar?
Attention to detail is by far number one. Giving you exactly what you want on the custom level. It drives me crazy when I see someone on a forum saying, I want a 63 with a humbucker in the neck. Well, just order one. That's what we do. We make whatever you want. Right. Aside from that, we know how to get more tone out of the neck. We know how to make it ring longer. I know how to make it feel better. When I talk to you, the customer on the phone, I'll ask you what kind of music you play. Do you scrub? Are you a light touch? And I'm pretty much going to nail that guitar based on many conversations. I mean, I did a Jaguar for a guy, and I had 266 emails on the one guitar. So
wow,
we have a lot of correspondence.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah. So these guitars that you brought here, are they specific models that you're recreating, or are they things that you've come up with yourself, or how do these come about?
These are stuff that we've come up with based on a lot of consumer orders and things like that. What's popular. Certain neck shapes are popular. This guitar has bigger frets, has 6105 frets, 5-way switch, probably some special wiring and some special pickups, a nice faded sonic blue on it. And then it has a special neck plate on there. It says Roadshow guitar. So we add some collectability with the guitar and stuff so that they walk away with something that's, it's got a little bit of, something special on it, and,
sure.
and it's a great playing guitar, great sounding guitar. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that the guitar that Dennis is going to work on today, they can actually buy that guitar too.
Okay.
The one he actually works on.
If someone's brave enough to.
Yeah. Right. Dennis might even let him help build the guitar.
Wow, oh, that's great. Great. So are these guitars for sale as well, or are you? And then customers can also come in and place orders today. Yeah. For a specific guitar that
everything's for sale. Always.
Right. Now, how did you become a master builder?
I was a woodworker my whole life, working and doing high-end cabinetry and playing drums. I've been a drummer my whole life as well. And I was playing drums for one of the master builders at Fender, and Mike was running the shop at the time. He was the head cheese, and hired me on to make the Robin Ford model because it's very woodworking based. And I kind of just fished a water, and they promoted me very quickly, and here I am 11 years later.
Right, right. Now, when you're working on a guitar like this one or some of these others that are based on historical models that you're then updating or adding special features to, how much research goes into doing that and to getting the finishes to be exactly the way you want them? Tons.
Lots and lots and lots. When the Robin Ford orders dried up and they put me on the Fender product, we called it at the time, and the first thing I did was got every single book I could find and read them cover to cover as quickly as I could. And we still, every builder's got his stack of books, and we reference them all the time. I mean, we can't remember every single thing, although we're probably more educated than most on vintage Fender stuff.
Right.
We still go to the reference. We still go to the shows and pick up vintage guitars and scrutinize them. And plus, we've got people in the factory that have been there since the 50s, and we'll go hit them up too.
Right, right. And do you have a special stash of wood that you build these from, or how does that work?
Custom Shop does have its own wood supply, absolutely. You know, the builder we don't obviously get too involved in purchasing of the wood, but we do have lots of high-end stuff to pick from.
We're doing this. This year's the 60th anniversary for the Telecaster, and so what we're doing, we're calling it the Telebration.
Great.
And what we're doing is we're doing 60 pieces of all these iconic Telecasters, starting with what we call the Snakehead Proto. It was a 3 on the side tuner thing. It was never a production guitar. It was a prototype that Leo would take around to the clubs and let the country western guitar guys play it.
Right.
To kind of get their feedback on the thing, and we started with that. And then we do a 2 pickup Esquire, and then we do a 1 pickup Esquire, and then we do a Broadcaster, which is the first time we've put the Broadcaster decal on a Telecaster, because there was a lawsuit thing with Gretsch because they had a Broadcaster drum set. And so we went to Fred and we said, hey, we want to do this thing. And he's like, yeah, that'd be fine, it was a lot easier than it was back in the 50s. Right. So and we're doing 60 of each of those. But the prototype and the first 2 Esquires were actually made out of pine. And what you need to do is you can't just go down to like the lumber store around the corner and get pine, because it's real sappy and heavy, actually. So you have to get really nice, dried, aged pine. And we found this source. We went looking around for some really old pine, and I found the source in Texas. And these guys, they tear barns down. And then they rebuild them, and they build houses out of them, and they use it for flooring and things like that. So I called the guy up and I said, man, I'm looking for some 100-year-old pine. And he goes, I got 100-year-old, and he goes, I got 200-year-old pine too.
Wow.
So we just bought a bunch of that stuff, and and then we do all the original construction techniques and stuff. So the wood comes from like all over the place. Like Dennis will run into to guys at shows and stuff, and he'll say, hey, I'm a wood salesman. There's another guy, Larry Pergriba, who is just this like real character that we all love at Fender. And he's just an amazing guy. And he'll call up and go, I just found this piece of whatever, and it's just always amazing. So we have a lot of different sources. People to do it.
Right. It's got to be fun turning that wood into a great instrument.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah. How hard is it to get the relic finishes on these? What kinds of things do you go through to make those finishes look so authentic?
We all have our own methods, and they all vary. Ultimately, we get to the same place. We all have our own homemade, goofy tools. I've got a couple different things to do the dings. I've got belt buckles on a string. I've got a set of old keys that I bent at about a 45-degree angle, so you get the different all kinds of different stuff. I mean, I don't know how much we can get into on that, but we all have a
don't want to give away any trade secrets.
Yeah, well, not that anyone's going to go home and do it themselves, I hope.
Right.
Well, people do. That's the thing, is that people do go home and try to do it themselves, and then the next thing you know, it's like, there was a guy on the forum the other day, and I was looking on it, and he's like, oh man, I tried doing this, and I really messed the guitar up. And it's hard, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, we've all, Dennis and I have spent a good part of our, early careers, making mistakes, and so it's best left to the professionals.
There's a lot of chemicals involved too, which is another reason we don't do this out and about. A couple guys have tried to do relicing demos, and they're just, I mean, I don't want to get anybody's oncology bill.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it's more than just tying the guitar behind your car and dragging it down the street.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot goes into that. Now, how many master builders are at Fender?
I think right now we're at 8 right now, but
one of them is dedicated to Gretsch.
Yeah, and they all change around quite a bit. Like a guy, we had one of our master builders, Chris Fleming. Now he's working in R&D. We had another guy, Mark Kendrick, and now he's working in our quality department and stuff for Fender. So they move around a little bit. We'll take guys out and have them do different things. And all that. Steven Stern, he was working on the Diaquisto stuff when we were doing Diaquisto and Benedetto stuff, and now he's doing mainly just Gretsch. Right. But it all depends, and they all move around.
And when you do a run of like 60 of the Telecasters you were talking about, does one person build all 60 of those, or do you do those as a team?
For that run, we're doing them as a team. But there are different things like Dennis is doing a Buddy Holly tribute guitar that we're really not talking about.
Except sounds like you are.
But we are at Sweetwater,
right?
Because we want to let you guys.
You heard it here first.
That's right. We want to let the customers at Sweetwater know about it more. This is the first time we've actually really talked about it in public. But Dennis is making a Buddy Holly tribute that's going to be out this year, and that's 50 pieces, and Dennis is building all those himself. So when we do certain things like the tributes, sometimes the whole group of master builders will work on it, but we've found that it's better to actually have one guy dedicated to it. So that's really kind of what we're leaning to right now.
I see. How difficult is it when you're making 50 of the same model and each one's custom, to make them all be similar or basically consistent from one to the other?
It's challenging for sure. You know, and if the first one is always the hard one, you know, because you got to nail that one. That's the one that gets passed around and scrutinized. Now I got to make all 49 like up to that level.
Right.
So, you know, you refine your methods and like, okay, well, next time I found an easier way to get through this part or that part. And so, you know, by the 50th one, you do
it in your sleep, right?
It's funny because he did the first one, and the other day he brought it out and we showed it to some of our dealers, you know, and he had it at this hotel, and he comes up to me and goes, "Well, have you seen it?" I go, "No." And he goes, "Why wouldn't you look at it first?" I go, "Well, do you like it?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Okay, it's good to me."
That's fine, yeah.
And he asked me like I think twice. I think he's like, "Hey, did you look at it?" No, you know.
Well, yeah.
Because I want him, you know, I want Dennis or any other builder that does it. I want them. That's their thing. I want them to be that, you know, to be happy with what's going on and stuff. And I understand that they want my opinion on certain things and all that stuff. But you know, I really feel strongly that when a builder builds a guitar, you know, whether it's a master builder or one of our team builders or whatever it is, that they invest part of their mojo or their soul into that thing. And so, you know, it may sound corny and all that other stuff, but I really feel that that's an important aspect of it, that he's happy. If Dennis is happy building an instrument, it'll be great.
Right.
It's still like bringing a girl home to your parents, though. You know, you want the approval.
Right. That's awesome. Right. So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what are some of the wildest things you've been asked to build in the custom shop?
I tend to get a lot of the crazy ones. Our inside sales guy at Fender, Mike Gagan, is a very good friend of mine. We played in a band together way before each of us worked at Fender. So he beats up on me personally a lot with a lot of crazy stuff. I had to do a Strat for a one-armed guitar player at one point, so that was very, very custom because I had to accommodate the fact that it's hanging on his body a certain way, and he had to be able to play it with one hand because he has one. 5-string fretless Strat I had to make. Recently, I did a 5-string bass with a keyboard attached to it.
Wow!
For an artist. We mentioned before a double neck with an 8-string mandolin on it. So yeah, we get some crazy ideas, but that's the stuff we really thrive on.
I bet.
Yeah, the crazier the better. Bring it on. I love it.
It's got to be fun.
It's a blast.
Right. We're so glad you guys are here.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to the roadshow this afternoon, this evening, and we're looking forward to seeing you build a guitar here at Sweetwater.
Well, this is probably one of the coolest stores I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mike, pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Dennis, thank you very much. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute.